Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and another prediction video. The last prediction video we did was the inning number 2 prediction, and as you guys know, the Team Affinity Part 2 is coming out later this week, and we're going to have all the information you ever need on it, as well as anything else you would ever need to know. That's like patches, that's new cards in the game, new headliners, new Player of the Month cards. We do player debuts. We stream like 2 or 3 times a week at this point because we're all trapped inside our house and are eternally doomed to eventually die and just suffer eternally. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button. This gets dropped on Friday, but the reveals start on April 21st, which is this Tuesday, of course, of 2020. Now, it promises new rewards for all 30 teams as well as new showdowns. So let's get into the predicting. Now, if you don't know how this works already, if you go to a team, my favorite team is the Rangers, so we're going to use them as the example. If you go over, you have already probably collected 70 points for whatever team you've done. I'm sure everybody's done at least one. Maybe it's just your favorite team. Maybe you've done a bunch. I don't know. But chances are you know how the first stage at least works. Now, on Friday, Stage 2 unlocks, and all of these say Stage 2 coming soon, Stage 2 coming soon, and it goes all the way up to 120 points, where we're going to have Stage 2 missions, collections, probably moments, and all that. So at 120 stars, presumably, we get our new Diamond card. It says Stage 2 coming in the future there, and I'm going to tell you why that language there, in the future, is important. On every other one, it says coming soon, coming soon, coming soon, coming soon. But then at 120 it says in the future. And even beyond that, all of these say coming soon, except for this one that says coming in the future. I think that's important because that to me says we're going to get some kind of like future stars card or maybe more prospects. I think prospects are certainly possible because it's the first year we've had prospects in the game. They probably spent a lot of time figuring out how to rate all the prospects properly. So it wouldn't stun me if we got more prospects. Just because they like them so much, it's a new card. I don't blame them. I kind of like the prospect cards. They're kind of fun. So that's kind of the rationale behind all of this rating. All of the timestamps for the divisions will be in the description because I have a feeling this is going to be a longer video. And that's pretty much it. This is me taking a stab at who they're going to do. Obviously, we're not repeating any cards that they've already released. We're not getting like a 95 Adley Rutschman for the Orioles because there's already an Adley Rutschman in the game. Stuff like that. It'll make sense as we go. I've done a lot of research on MLB.com. If you guys enjoy this kind of video, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Let's get into it. Alright, we're going to use the offline rosters for We're going to use the offline roster on most of these, and I'm not going to go into great detail on these because I mean, this video would be 3 hours long, and I have a feeling it's already going to be a pretty long video. So I'm just going to give you guys kind of the player and then just like a sentence on why I think so. So Cole Stewart is going to be the Orioles one. I think he's the highest potential prospect the Orioles really have right now. He's 24, he's been around the big leagues for a bit. I think he could get a juiced card. I think it'd look pretty good. For the Red Sox, I really have 2 guesses, and one of them is a pretty selfish guess, but I hope Michael Chavis gets a card, just because I really like Michael Chavis. I like the way he plays. I think he's entertaining. One of my favorite Red Sox on the roster right now. That being said, I don't feel like that's gonna be the guy that gets the card. I think more likely it's gonna be Alex Verdugo. I think the San Diego Studios really likes him, having rated him as a 77 overall. Player. He's been around for a little bit, but I think he's young enough that you could call him a future star because he hasn't fully blossomed yet, and I think he's probably the pick. I think the Yankees get a pitcher. I think the most likely one here is Garcia. All the reports I read about him, they really like him and that he's going to pan out well, and I think he could get like a low 90s diamond card. Now the Rays, I really had to dig deep because so many of their cards have already been released. They already have a bunch of diamond cards that have been released and are kind of in the market or in like collectible already. So this one's probably not the top prospect that you think about when you think about the Rays, but I think Dylan Cousins could be interesting. 24 and A potential player here in the offline rosters. Everything I've read about him, the Rays seem to like him. He looks pretty interesting. I think he could pan out well. He could be a big power hitter for the Rays if they chose to go this route. I have two guesses again for the Jays. I think the first one, and the card that I hope they go with, is Cavan Biggio. Now we've gotten a boosted version of Vlad. We have two now. We had the home run version last year, and we have the face of the franchise this year. And then we had the finest of Bo Bichette last year, which means Biggio is the only guy, and I know he got a gold that didn't get one last year, so this could be the time. Hopefully they just give him a boosted gold card, or a boosted like low diamond card. I think that'd be pretty fun. The other guy is Danny Jensen. I think giving us another good catching option would not be bad, and he projects to be pretty good. I think he's going to be a pretty good catcher in real life. Maybe they'll give him a low 90s diamond. Who knows? Now for the White Sox, this is an interesting team. They've already released 5 prospect cards, including like Robert, Tyler Kopech. They released Robert. They released Madrigal. So for them to do another card, it would almost certainly have to be a card like Dylan Cease. I think you get a pitcher. He wasn't great last year, but I think he projects really well. And he's the first AL Central card. For the Indians here, I think you get Brian Rocchio. Dear God, I know I butchered that name. He would be a prospect card almost for sure. He hasn't really had any playing time in the MLB. I think he projects well to be a contact hitter. And if he got a low diamond, you'd be looking at something like a worse version of Pee Wee Reese or Luis Aparicio. So I don't think it'd be great, but I think that's kind of what you're looking at. Now the Tigers have already released 2 heavy-hitting cards there with Casey Mays and Matt Manning. I don't think they go with another pitching route. I think more likely we see a card like Daz Cameron, who's down here somewhere. This is another card. I just personally like Daz Cameron. No real reason to, but I think he could project to be pretty good. I think he'd be a more all-around guy. If they gave him like a low 90s card, I bet you he would rake, and he'd be pretty level on the contact power ratio. So, I don't know. It could be fun. He's kind of fast, could have a good glove. I think he'd be a very interesting card for the Tigers to have. The Royals, this guy, Bobby Witt. They drafted him 2nd last year in the draft. He played locally here around where I live in high school. This kid is a boss, and I really think Bobby Witt's going to be the move here for the Royals. He's going to be a great shortstop. He's going to have elite fielding. He's going to have elite hitting. He's going to have elite speed. All around, I mean, this card is going to be amazing. The Twins, I think you get another outfielder. I think it's Lamont Wade Jr. He's probably the guy. I mean, you have other guys, but Royce Lewis has already been released. So I really think it's Lamont Wade Jr. if they go this route. For the Angels, we get back to more technical starting pitchers. We get back to more future starsy rather than prospecty cards. This guy's had some time in the majors, but Griffin Canning, I think, almost certainly fits the bill to be a high 90s or low 90s starting pitcher card for the Angels. For the A's, I think you get a shortstop. I think it's probably Logan Davidson. This is what his offline card looks like. Seems like all the A's people really like him. He looks good, only 22. Could be a great prospects or future stars card. So there you go. For the Mariners, here's a guy that's been on the Yankees. He's now on the Mariners. He's had some time in the majors, though it hasn't been great. I think Justice Sheffield probably gets like a low mid-90s card. The Rangers have 2 potential guys. Now Nick Solak came up last year and was pretty good in 33 games. The guy slaps the ball around. He has hard exit velocities. I'd be down for a low 90 diamond card of Nick Solak. I think it'd be really good. The other option would be a guy like Willie Calhoun, who we traded for from the Dodgers in the Yu Darvish deal, I think. Really interesting card. He would not be a good fielder, and also is very slow. He projects to be like a Nick Castellanos, JD Martinez, but left-handed, Yordan Alvarez, if you will. So it'd be interesting. For the Astros, I think it's probably Kyle Tucker. Now, he's played in 2 seasons, only has like 40, 50 games, but he's going to be pretty good. I think all the Astros people like him. They're in the same division as the Rangers. I've gotten to see a bunch of his games. I think he'd project to be pretty well. He's got really good speed. He's going to have an elite level glove. He's going to have pretty good hitting. as a lefty bat, it could be a very good move there for the Astros card. The Braves card is going to be Kyle Wright, probably. They've already released Christian Pache. There's other Braves prospect cards out there. I think Kyle Wright fits the bill here, and he could be the next step for the Braves. The Marlins have a bunch of guys, but I think the guy that fits Future Stars the most is going to be Isan Diaz or Isan Diaz. If you're watching this, you can correct me. If anyone knows, go ahead and comment it down below. I really think he fits the mold of what they would be looking for there in a card. He's the future of the Miami Marlins up there with Garrett Anderson, and he looks pretty good. Is it Garrett Anderson? It's not Garrett Anderson, is it? Brian Anderson. Yeah. Could also potentially be a card like Jazz Chisholm. I think either of those guys are possible. For the Nationals, this has to be an offline card because they don't have him, but all I've heard from my Nationals friend is how good Carter Kieboom is going to be, and I've been guilt-tripped into saying that he's going to be the Future Stars card. He's a shortstop. I feel like maybe they'll make him a third baseman. I don't know. But, I mean, the fielding's pretty good, the speed's pretty good. The hitting, if it just gets boosted, it could be a pretty nasty card. The Mets got an outfielder last round, and this time I think they're going to get Brett Beatty. He is a hitting card. I mean, obviously he's a hitting card. He's a third baseman, infield card. I think the fielding gets boosted a little bit from this version. The speed probably stays about the same. Maybe he gets a little bit of a boost. And the hitting gets boosted. I think this card has the potential to rake. There's a left-handed bat again. I don't know. It could be interesting. I am all about San Diego Studios giving us more catchers cards. I think this time it's Rafael Marchand for the Phillies. He looks like he's going to be the heir apparent to JT Realmuto. Maybe they move Realmuto to first later in his career to try to preserve some more production from him. But this Rafael Marchand card looks really good. If they boosted some of the fielding, he's going to be a contact hitter. The speed's pretty decent. He'd be pretty similar, I think, to JT Realmuto, but maybe with less power and more contact. I don't know. It's an interesting card there, the switch hitter. Here's another Future Stars card for you. For the Cubs fans, it's the Horn Dog Nico Horner, a 68 overall here. Pretty good speed there as a shortstop. Obviously, he's being held down by Baez there, but I'm sure they'll find a place for him. He found his way into 20 games last year. He did okay. Those are not terrible numbers. Obviously, the hitting is going to be boosted, as is the case for all of these cards, so I don't know why I keep saying it. But his power is not terrible. I think his power would be like 80 maybe. 80s across the board, and then the contact would be around 100, and then the fielding would probably be like silver or gold. Speed would probably be about the same. I think he's a pretty good shortstop if they make that card. There is only one Reds card I want to see San Diego Studios release, and it is Aristides Aquino. Now, he came up in 2018, he played in one game, got one at-bat, and he struck out. But last year, he came up, and he was on a tear. He was hitting home runs left and right. Give me just an absolute juiced version of Aquino. Give me like 125 power on both sides. Give me like usable fielding in the outfield with 99 arm strength that he's already got here. 75 speed is usable. Aquino could be a beast. I really hope that this is the card. The Brewers, I don't know. Like Keeson Hayura maybe? Seems fun. Future Stars Hayura. I feel like we got one of those last year though. I also, like, runner-up for me was like Luis Urias, who's played in a bunch of games. I think Keeson Hayura is probably the more likely choice. He rakes against righties, so imagine like 110 versus righties, like 90-ish versus lefties on contact and power. Fielding's gotta be boosted though for this to be usable. I know it's a second baseman, but it's just gotta be. Although I guess it doesn't really matter. The Pirates have a bunch. I think shortstop Cole Tucker. That's my pick. That's who I'd go with. I feel like there's a lot of shortstops, but Cole Tucker could probably hold his own. If you gave him a lot, like, I don't know, gold fielding, more decent arm strength, the contact, the power numbers go up. He doesn't need to rake if he's able to play defense at a high level, or even if he's able to do both. at just like a great level. That would be elite, but he played some last year. I know San Diego Studios loves him because last year he was like a 99 potential, and they've dropped him down some this year. But I feel like this could be a card that we get. The Cardinals already have a few released. Dylan Carlson has been released already, and he looks pretty good. So the card I'm going with is Matthew Liberatore, a new addition from the Rays. Eventually he's going to be really good. He's going to be a prospect card though, for sure. Please, for the love of God, give me a Zach Gallen boosted card. Now he was nasty last year. 281 ERA there. He had 80 innings pitched. Didn't pitch a full season. Was there as a starter. If they gave me like a mid-90s Zach Gallen, I would immediately go and grind the NL West to get this card. It would be crazy, I know, I'm aware, but this card would be sick, and I want it desperately. Brendan Rodgers already has a card, so the move here is going to be Garrett Hampson. I know he's 25, he's a little on the old side. He's not played 162 games yet. I think he could still qualify as a Future Stars card. I think SDS really likes him. So just imagine a boosted version of this. He's got elite speed. I think the fielding could go to like silver. He's got a lot of secondary positions. The hitting, even if it's like, I don't know, 80 contact, 70s power, something like that, 60s power, I feel like he'd be usable just because of the speed. The Dodgers, there's like 5 people it could be. I'll give you 3. I think it's Carrot Top Dustin May. Probably. Feels like a good move. I mean, he pitched some last year. Mostly out of the pen, it looks like. He did okay. 3.63 ERA, 32 strikeouts in 34 innings. Pretty good. Whip's also pretty good last year. Gavin Lux is another interesting card. He played some last year, 240. I think he projects really well, and that could be a really fun card. And the last card is like the catcher Will Smith, where I don't know where he is. Here he is. But he's on the older side, so more likely it would probably be May or Lux. But if they wanted to give us another catcher, I think Will Smith would be capable and the move. I think he could be just like JT Realmuto. Like, just like him. Final 2. Shout out to Richland High School and Trent Grisham. He went to school locally, so I gotta shout him out. I think he could even be the card here for the Padres. I know he was traded there late, but they've had all spring training to kind of figure out what they're going to do with this card. I think he fits the bill of Future Stars really well. He only played 51 games last year. Didn't do great. Obviously had the issue there in the wild card game, which we're not going to talk about. But he hit 6 home runs, 6 doubles, had 36 hits. Really, really an effective card. I mean, he's got good speed. He's got pretty good fielding. I think he's going to have boosted hitting. That could be a really fun card there if you're the Padres. Also, I feel like if I don't mention him, Padres fans are going to lose their mind. But Chris Paddock could also be like a 95 starting pitcher. The last team is the Giants. Hunter Bishop's here. He would be a prospects card, no time in the major leagues. A potential, I think he could be really good. Seems like the Giants team really likes him, which I know I've probably said for over half of these cards, but I mean, the Giants probably like him. The other one, and I really hope this resembles the finest card he got last year, but it's Yastrzemski, wherever he is on this list. I hope he gets like a 95 card. Where is Yastrzemski, dude? We already have Melvin Adon. Here he is. Really, he's getting shafted. Oh, he's 29 already. Maybe not. Maybe not. He's older than I thought he was. I don't know. Maybe. I feel like he could get a low 90s card and get away with it. I'd be down. Hopefully he does. I hope he does. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. Hit the like and subscribe button if you made it this far. If you made it this far, be sure to comment watermelon to let me know. And I'll pin your comment and give you a subscription. But that's it for me, guys. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.